She was young, beautiful, and unstoppable. Aaliyah wasn't just another R&B artist. She was reshaping the music industry, blending silky vocals, hypnotic beats, and a cutting-edge style that made her one of the most influential stars of her generation. Her career was soaring, her fame skyrocketing, and the world was at her feet. But in a single moment, it was all ripped away. Aaliyah's plane never made it home. A horrific crash ended her life at just 22 years old, leaving fans in shock and devastation. But as the details emerged, it became clear. This wasn't just an accident. What really happened on that doomed flight? Who was responsible? And could Aaliyah's life have been saved? Today, we uncover the chilling truth behind Aaliyah's final flight, the disturbing facts surrounding the crash, and the lasting impact on the music industry. The tragic circumstances behind the crash. A star destined for greatness. By 2001, Aaliyah was on the verge of superstardom. Her latest self-titled album was climbing the charts. Her role in the blockbuster movie Queen of R&B was set to make her a Hollywood star, and she was even in talks for the Matrix sequels, a sign of just how far her influence had spread. But before all that, she had one final project to complete, a music video shoot for her latest single, Rock the Boat. She and her crew flew to the Bahamas, where they spent days filming on the crystal-clear waters, capturing stunning footage that would showcase Aaliyah in a way the world had never seen before. The shoot was a massive success, but the decision to return home immediately after wrapping up led to a chain of events that would end in disaster. A plane that should never have taken off. Aaliyah and her team were scheduled to take a different flight the following day, but a last-minute change of plans led them to board a small Cessna 402B twin-engine plane, a decision that would prove fatal. There was a major problem. The plane was dangerously overloaded. Luggage, equipment, and passengers exceeded the aircraft's weight capacity by at least 700 pounds, making it unstable and unsafe for flight. Airport staff even warned Aaliyah's team about the risks, but pressure to leave quickly led them to ignore the warnings. But the weight issue wasn't the only problem. A pilot who shouldn't have been flying. The man behind the controls that fateful evening was Luis Morales III, a young and inexperienced pilot with a history that should have grounded him long before takeoff. He wasn't just underqualified, he was dangerously unfit for the job. Morales had lied about his credentials, falsifying records to appear more experienced than he actually was. In reality, he wasn't even licensed to fly the Cessna 402B, the very aircraft he was piloting that night. But the issues ran even deeper. Just 2 weeks before the crash, Morales had been caught violating aviation regulations and was awaiting disciplinary action. His reckless disregard for the rules should have set off alarm bells, but somehow, he still found himself in the cockpit. The most damning revelation came after the crash. An autopsy confirmed that Morales had both cocaine and alcohol in his system at the time of the flight. His judgment was impaired, his reactions slowed, and his decision-making abilities dangerously compromised. The final moments, a tragic descent. As the sun began to set over the Bahamas, Aaliyah and her team boarded the small Cessna 402B for what was meant to be a routine flight back to the US. But beneath the surface, there were signs of trouble. At 6:50 p.m., the plane taxied onto the runway, its engines groaning under the immense weight. The aircraft was carrying far more than it was designed to handle, overloaded with luggage, video equipment, and 9 passengers, pushing it far beyond its limits. As the pilot pushed the throttle forward, the plane began its takeoff roll, but something wasn't right. Witnesses recalled an uneasy ascent as the aircraft struggled to gain altitude. Just moments after leaving the ground, it became clear the plane was not stable. Then, disaster struck. Just 200 feet from the runway, the aircraft stalled. Its engines failed to generate enough lift due to the excess weight. In a horrifying moment, The nose pitched forward, and the plane plummeted uncontrollably toward the ground. It slammed into a dense thicket of trees and exploded on impact, sending flames and smoke billowing into the sky. The force of the crash was so severe that debris was scattered across a wide radius. There was no chance of survival. When emergency crews arrived, they found the wreckage still burning, the metal frame of the aircraft twisted beyond recognition. Aaliyah and all 8 others on board had been killed instantly, their final moments lost in an unspeakable tragedy. The news sent shockwaves around the world. How could one of music's brightest young stars, a woman on the cusp of legendary success, be gone in an instant? Fans, friends, and fellow artists struggled to process the reality. Aaliyah's voice, her presence, her future, all extinguished in mere seconds. Consequences: the aftermath and Aaliyah's enduring legacy. The industry mourns a star gone too soon. The moment news of Aaliyah's death broke, the music industry fell into mourning. Artists like Missy Elliott, Timbaland, and Jay-Z were devastated. Beyoncé, Usher, and Mariah Carey expressed their grief, knowing that Aaliyah was destined for greatness. Her funeral was attended by some of the biggest names in entertainment, while thousands of fans gathered outside to pay tribute. For many, the loss felt unreal. Aaliyah was supposed to be the future of R&B, and now that future had been stolen. A preventable tragedy that sparked change. In the aftermath, investigators uncovered the full extent of the negligence that led to the crash. The plane was overloaded, making it unstable from the moment it left the ground. The pilot was unqualified and under the influence. He should have never been flying. The record label's rush to get Aaliyah home may have contributed to reckless decision-making. This wasn't just a freak accident. It was the result of poor judgment and ignored warnings. Aaliyah's death sparked discussions about artist safety, leading to stricter travel regulations in the entertainment industry. The tragedy served as a wake-up call, one that highlighted the dangers of cutting corners and prioritizing schedules over safety. A legacy that lives on. Despite her tragic passing, Aaliyah's influence remains strong. Her music continues to inspire generations, her fashion still influences trends, and her impact on R&B shaped the sound of the 2000s. Artists like Drake, Rihanna, and The Weeknd have all cited Aaliyah as an inspiration, proving that even in death, her artistry continues to shine. Aaliyah's death was a heartbreaking loss, but her legacy lives on. She was more than just a singer. She was a movement, a style icon, and a force that changed the industry forever. But what do you think? Could this tragedy have been prevented? And how different would music be today if Aaliyah was still here? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to see more deep dives into music legends, untold stories, and shocking industry truths, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.